We have Bruce live in the locker room in Tallahassee celebrating on the field with the Florida State. And I don't know why, like, we were able to run the ball so well in the first half, especially to the left side, and then all of a sudden we started to abandon it. And like I said, there is some inconsistency.
How are they going to approach this game? How are they going to beat this Florida State team?
Well, we're going to break you guys.
Okay, that's it. The show's over.
In the story, we're going to break you guys. Look, and I'm joking, but it's true.
Lord, the climb continues, KB. Oh my God!
I am sweating.
Look at my heart. Look.
You know what? Yeah, I have so much to say. All right, and welcome back to another episode of Seminoles Sideline 365. As always, with me is the old man. I am KB, and we are just a couple of days from game day. Once again, a fabulous noon kickoff in Death Valley against the Clemson Tigers, which should be, even though they're unranked for the first time in God knows whenever. I can't remember the last time we played them when they were unranked.
2016 or something like that. I don't know. It's been a while.
I would have to fact check that, but yeah, it's been a while. I think you could debate that they probably should be within the top 20. I don't know if there's 25 teams better than the talent that Clemson has on their team. Maybe they haven't played like a top 25 team, but I think most rational Florida State fans are expecting a tight matchup. Some, if you go on Twitter, would say this is going to be a blowout by FSU. I'm not one of those people, but that is what I think makes the world great, is that you can – well, let me get this out of the way because I've been thinking about this a lot.
You got something to say. Say it. This is – listen, we live on no sugar, no hugs and kisses. You're hesitant. Get it off. No. Get it off. Sleep at night.
So I try to avoid – Twitter and get,
I don't.
I know you don't. But when I get on there, it's so annoying just watching. It's all I saw this past week was you're either with us or you're against us, or if you're criticizing, you're not a true Florida State fan, and we've come into this world is now if you criticize, then you're the enemy. Or if you're critical, then you're the enemy. If you don't agree with me, you're my enemy. And I think that is partially what's wrong with today's world, is that you can't have an argument with somebody without them thinking you're now their enemy. You can't come to common ground, or you can't come, have a debate and then come out with saying
open discourse.
Exactly. Even as a fan base, right. People are just fine saying, if we were at all critical of last week's matchup, or saying Jordan Travis didn't play well, or the defense needs to play better, or so-and-so player needs to step up if we want to have a chance at a great season, then we're not true fans because we called it out. And once again, we all are armchair quarterbacks. So we're all armchair coaches.
We're opinions.
We're all
opinionated. That's it.
Exactly. But to say that you're not a true Florida State fan, whatever the hell that actually means, because you are critical of what you saw last week or any season, is asinine. I'd rather be that person that is critical or calls out things that I see versus the person that's constantly going to kiss someone's ass when they don't deserve it, or trying just to get all the love and I'm sucking up to this person. Go FSU, go FSU. I would rather be the person that can be truthful about what I see, right or wrong, or good or bad, because it's not always going to be easy, guys. We went through years of it not being easy, and you had to call things good and bad. And now just because we're number 4 in the country doesn't mean that still doesn't mean that everything's good, right? And we saw it last week. So I don't want anyone that watches this show to feel like, you can't have your own opinion. Like, you don't have to agree with what we say, and we encourage you to comment that if you agree or disagree with us, but you're not going to be kicked off the channel as long as you keep it civil and you don't, obviously you've F-bombed, but we want to hear your opinions, and that's the difference. You don't have to say FSU looks amazing every week, That's the thing I want to get off, because that's what I hate sometimes about this fan base, is that if you're not with us 100%, you're against us 100%. And I don't think it's all that black and white. There could be gray there, right?
Let me add to that. Okay, let me add to that, because I'm on Twitter, X, a lot, and I read this stuff and I see it. I look across all the media, all the FSU media, official, unofficial. I look at the opponents' media. I really spend a lot of time looking at that type stuff. And I'm going to agree with what you say. Okay? Every fan is entitled to their opinion. Most of the, quote, insiders don't have inside access anyways, okay? And they have their sources and all of this. But beyond all of that, I think what you're saying, and I'll say it a little bit harsher, and you can wave me off if you think I'm wrong. There are FSU media sites. This is not the official Florida State media for Florida State University. These are people like us, okay? The difference between us and them is we don't pay our mortgages based on what we're saying or the program we bring out. These other people are hugging and kissing and putting sweetener in their coffee because they're trying to hug and kiss fans to their site. And if that's the type of fan you want fed sugar all the time, and that, oh, it's all okay, it's all kumbaya, and you can't say any critical things about the team, then you're not a good fan, or you're not a good host if you do, then go to those channels. We are not that channel. We're going to tell the good, we're going to tell the bad, we're going to tell where we think we need to improve. Just because a coaching staff, and Coach Norvell is this person, he motivates by positive reinforcement. He's not going to air out anything. But if you don't think he airs stuff out, there was video out after the BC game where he aired it out, came back with a positive message. But, old-time coaches, they're going to pound on players that don't perform well. If that is sports, and if you don't like that type of stuff, then go find these other people that spoon feed you what you want. That's up to you. That's the great thing about YouTube. You can find out what you want. But I would say to you, it's better to look at everybody and hear everybody's message than the same message over again.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
That's
and like you said, you said, it's not about this channel is going to be negative about everything FSU. It's just about, not everything is roses, right? And we saw that last. And
let me add this: don't anyone out there dare question us about our loyalty to this team. Don't dare say that I'm not a good fan if I say something. I sat in the stands as a student for an 0-11 season. I was there all the time early, and I left late, and that hasn't changed over the course since 1970s when I was there. Yeah. So don't question me or anyone else about their fan, how good a fan they are. I don't care how you get your views. I don't care if you're buying them or doing other things to get them, which some of it, the numbers are really kind of weird, but don't accuse other fans or other people because they say something you don't like. And then you start lecturing to fans on their opinions. No, we're not buying that.
That's the part that gets me. But I don't want to spend all night about this. I just think that if you have opinions that are critical, you're allowed to be critical. But like you said, you should also see the positive. There were positives last week, and like I pointed them out. I did a couple tweets. DJ Lundy played a great game. I'm glad he broke the rock. You still won the game. You found a way to win the game, even though you put some circumstances against you, right? So you found a way to win. You had some defensive standouts. Azaria Thomas played very well as well. So see the positive, but you're allowed to be critical. So don't feel like it has to be black or white. You're allowed to be both things as a Seminoles fan. Don't ever feel like you have to go in hiding because people on Twitter are telling you you can't be critical of the team at times. That's the only thing I want you guys to be aware of. And you can come here if you say that. So I don't
measure what we say. I don't measure what I put on Twitter. I try to be professional. I try to be objective on what I'm seeing and how I'm feeling. Yeah. So if I lose, all of a sudden one of my numbers go down. I don't focus on the numbers. We don't focus on the numbers. Okay. Other people.
We're not in it for the numbers. We're not in it for the numbers.
Other sites have to focus on that because they're paying their damn bills that way.
Yeah.
So, we're not in that position.
Yeah. Luckily, we're not in that position.
We're not tied.
We can talk about what we want to talk about, and we can express your opinions, and we can listen to y'all's comments on this, whether you agree with us or not. That's the great part is we want to hear from you. If you agree with us or not, and this is your open forum for it because, like you said, we don't have to worry about if FSU cuts us off from media because we're not part of their media, which is great. So let's get into it. So we have a big matchup this weekend, like I said, with Clemson, unranked Clemson, which, like I said, I think they should be a top 25 team, but you could disagree with that. Let us know in the comments.
Well, let me make a comment on that. Just a quick comment. You said maybe they should be. They haven't really done anything to crack the top 25.
You're right.
They lost to Duke handily.
They did.
And they've beaten two teams that nobody cares about.
No,
I
think talent-wise, they have the talent to be a top 25, but you're right. They haven't done anything to say why they should be in the top 25.
And go ahead. Right. This is why this is a pivotal game for both teams.
Yes. I think, it is. You're right. All of it's on the line. If Clemson loses another game, they go 0-2 in the conference, they're not going to the ACC championship game. I'll say that straight up right now. So this is all they have. They got their one mulligan out of the way with Duke opening week.
Yeah, they have a loss in the conference. And the conference now is all one big group.
Yeah, so they cannot afford another loss. So I'm sure that's what Dabo is saying to his players. This is our season. This Saturday at noon. This is our
playoffs,
season.
Right?
Yeah, this is not just play. This is ACC. If we lose this, we can't afford. We're not going to be able to come back from this with a top to bottom ACC. No more divisions. For Florida State, you come into this and say, our playoffs. You move back based on your performance last week. You're in the top 4 still, which is great. But your playoffs and your ACC dreams are on the line here going forward. Now, you can afford to lose this game and still make the ACC championship. Great, but it's going to be hard to climb back into the playoff picture if that is your goal with a loss to unranked Clemson. So if you're looking for something bigger this season, if you're looking for a playoff game, berth this year, you cannot afford to lose to Clemson. And I do believe that it will be a tougher matchup than I believe most people are looking at it for.
Let me add this to your opening statement there, which I think is a good opening statement, and that is this. There's more. The other thing that the national media, the guys making the big money, we're not talking about the local beat reporters and all this other stuff, the big TV productions, here's what they're going to say out of this. This is the matchup they're making. This is a matchup between a coach who has redone the program through the portal and a coach who doesn't believe in the portal that much. Okay? That is going to be the collision. If Clemson were to win this game, then he can go out and say, see, this Florida State team was built through the portal. I don't need the portal.
Oh, he does need the portal.
Okay.
I don't think that pitch is working anymore. The program's been
well, it's
not. He has to embrace the portal, or he's going to continue to decline as a. They're not dicey anymore.
Wait a minute. Let me say this. And by the way, your picture got a little real dark there for a minute. What I'm saying to make clear is this. Dabo Swinney has gone on record basically saying, I don't like to build through a portal. Okay, so this is a matchup of a guy who's transformed everything through a portal and a guy who says he doesn't believe in it. That's going to be a very interesting tale at the end of this game.
I don't think that's really the tale of this game.
I do. I don't think it's the tale of the game. I think it's a element of the game.
If you're not embracing the portal, if he's not embracing the portal after this year, he'll be out of a job in 3 years. He has to embrace the portal. That's no longer the storyline. You could have said that 2 years ago But seeing the decline of the Clemson program, where they're no longer, going to the national championships and competing for national championships, you can see the decline of their program by not utilizing the portal and just relying on who they can recruit.
KB,
that's no longer the story.
KB, I agree with you. Every coach has to use it as a tool, but he'll inch his way in, and he'll use this game as a basics of I kind of told you so.
If he continues to want to push that narrative, then he's going to be out of the job, like I said, in 3 years, because he will not be able to compete with the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Tennessees, the Florida States, who are going to continue to go hard on the portal to get the best.
Well, you have to,
and even Clemson players who may go into the portal after this year.
Does Clemson have any portal guys that are playing?
That's a good question.
I thought about that. I didn't look it up. So if anybody out there knows if they got some guy in the portal and he's a starter, throw his name up here in a comment.
Here's their depth chart heading into this. Like I said, you don't see any transfers on it. You have a couple of true freshmen. I mean, they
play a number of freshman guys.
They get high four or five stars, right? So they have quality talent that they want to, like these freshmen that come to Clemson, they expect to compete within a year.
That's right.
Or two. But as you see here, there are no transfers. You have some graduate level guys, but you don't see any portal players because would
that be designated on there?
Yes, it would be designated on here. Yes. Okay. So you see a lot of freshmen. You see graduate players on here. So you got a lot of graduate level players on there.
Will Putnam seems like he's been there like 10 years, along with Shipley. These guys, holy mackerel. So
when you compare that to Florida State's depth chart, and you see the TR next to their name, TR.
Transfer. Okay.
It stands out to you when you go back and you look at. You don't see any TRs on this roster.
I don't see one.
You don't see any.
Okay, there's one. There's one right there at quarterback. Paul Tyson, graduate transfer. Here's another one. Demike Thomas
at running back.
He's
so these
transfer.
are but that's about it. There's a couple. But once again, they're not embracing it. Say like the Florida State level, or at some of these other obviously not Colorado, but even at Florida State level, getting 10 or 11 guys that can make an instant impact.
Well, I think if Dabo has another subpar year or a subpar year, he's gonna, as you said, he's gonna embrace it. His coaching staff and people are gonna say, you need to step it up. Okay, just step it up. You don't have to do the whole program, but you need to approach this like a pro program and start filling holes with guys of experience, not guys coming out of high school.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
So go. Let's talk about the matchup now. Let's talk directly about the matchup. So if you remember last year, Florida State goes down early, 24-14 at halftime. Clemson then puts another 10 on them, goes up 34-14, and then Florida State kind of battles back there. But it's kind of out of reach by the time they put that late offensive spurt on. And this was at home. Jordan Travis had a decent game, a little, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, running game, 200 plus yards, but trouble scoring in the first half. DJ is gone, right? We know Cade is now the quarterback. DJ's at Oregon State. He had a hell of a game, highly efficient, 3 touchdowns, 203, hurt you a couple times with his legs, once for a touchdown. Will Shipley, once again, was probably the player of the game. You could not stop him when you need to stop him. Average 6 yards per carry, 121 yards. He tore you up last year. Along within the passing game where he had another 50-plus yards on 6 catches. The guy is still there. He's still doing what he does. And he's probably one of the top 2 running backs in the ACC, probably top 10 running back in the country. You could say, you could bait it. He's their do-it-all player. So going into this year's matchup, you don't have DJ, but you still have Will Shipley. You still have Antonio Williams, their leading receiver from last year, who's now a sophomore, I believe.
And Phil Maffa is running the football more
as well. Yeah, he's they're kind of they're committing them a little bit more this year. So the biggest mystery this year is Cade. How is he going to perform? When you look at the Duke performance and what he did against Duke, it wasn't so hot. I mean, he didn't have a great game. 209, 27 for 43. Touchdown, interception. He was not able to carry that offense at the level that Clemson expected. You only scored 7 points on the road at Duke. And now Duke, we'll do a whole separate show, of course, when we play them. And I think Duke's still a very underrated team for what they brought back. But for the talent that Clemson has on their roster, for you only put up 7 points with what you have, and once again, that was Cade's like second true game starting, I think, or first true game starting. That's he did not move the offense, and that's what Clemson's had trouble with the last couple of years, right? New offensive coordinator, moving the offense, getting points on the board. They got rid of DJ. Now he's at Oregon State, tearing it up. You bring Cade, the quarterback, your next new quarterback. The guy, is he generational? I think he's he's a 5-star guy. Not really moving this offense efficiently through 3 games. And now that is to Florida State's, I think, benefit, because you're not dealing with a Trevor Lawrence. You're not dealing with a Deshaun Watson anymore. I don't know if Cade is a generational type quarterback that Florida State has had to face in the past. And I do think Cade is mobile. I do think he has some wheels that he'll be able to escape the pocket if you don't bring him down. But I don't think he's as big and strong and mobile as say DJ was last year. So let's look at the matchup. What are your initial thoughts looking at this year's matchup between Florida State and Clemson?
Well, obviously, we all had this game circled on our calendar. This, to me, is the king of the hill game. Okay, king of the ACC hill game. This Florida State team, as we've said for a long time, has been built for this moment. They've been built for this year, and this is their opportunity to go in and flex the muscle and say the hype that came with this team is real. Okay. My concern is what I saw last weekend, and I'm not going to dwell on that. I thought the performance was very flat. Okay, it was a very flat performance. They eked out a victory which could have totally ruined their season, but a win is a win. Okay, a win by any points is a win. So we'll take that, but I come into the game where I thought I'd be elated with a high power, high octane offense, and I don't feel that way, okay? I don't have the total confidence that I did or I thought I'd have coming in at this point. So I'm a little concerned about how our offense finished the BC game. Now, Jordan Travis went down before the first half. Okay, but he came out and he played. So if he had a problem, then his coaching staff should have dealt with it. And if there was a problem him playing, you should have put in your backup Tate. If you have that much confidence, you put in your backup quarterback. That didn't happen. So I assume Jordan Travis was at 90% or better.
Yeah. I think
okay, but the offense didn't click. They couldn't get the running game going. The passing game wasn't that effective, blah, blah, blah. Now,
and they didn't click. They didn't click, but they still put up 31 points. Given that, my biggest concern is the FSU defense. I have been very disappointed in how they are performing. Now, we can break down the units here in a minute if you want. But overall, the defensive performance now, and if you look at the national rankings, I'm not going to throw out a bunch of numbers, but their national rankings defensively are not good. Okay? They're not good at this point, which means that they are vulnerable. And they're playing a talented, despite what everybody thinks, and it's Clemson hate week and all the emotional terms that some of the people put out there to catch views, this is a talented team that has talented athletes. This is their biggest test of the year so far, even though they got beat by Duke. All right? So, overall, Florida State's defensive numbers, and eventually, I think the sample is still small, okay? But we will know more after this game. Where is Fabian Lovett? He's listed now, basically, as a backup or farmer. Okay, what I'm saying is he hasn't played that many snaps. Okay, so I'm going to pick on Fabian Lovett a little bit. This is his chance to have a big game and put it on tape for the money year, because that's what he's playing in. Jared Verse, where are you? This is your game to step up and go and sack the quarterback and make a big play.
These guys, this defensive front, and I'm going to add in the offensive front for Florida State has to step up, control the line of scrimmage throughout this game. If they fail to do that, which I have a little problem with the offensive line as well as the defensive line, anything behind that is going to have problems. Okay? There's going to be problems. You're going to leave this team to hang around. Florida State should come out, play their ball, use their talent, and beat this Clemson team. Whether it's by 7, 10, 27, it doesn't matter. Come out, play your game.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. And some numbers can lie to you. I mean, sack numbers, Jared Verse is getting double team chipped, da-da-da. Like
okay,
I said,
but we hear that all the time.
I get it.
I'm tired of hearing that. So if one guy, wait a minute. If
you
one
can't tell
guy,
me to wait when I was starting the sentence.
If one guy is getting double teamed all the time, then the other guy on the other side, somebody is free to make a play.
Exactly.
Someone
so you can't
inside.
put it all on Jared Verse.
I'm tired of hearing that this guy I'm tired of hearing that type of scenario.
Well, is it Jared Verse's fault that they're giving up 3rd and 21s? Who's that on? The coach, the defensive backs, the linebackers?
Well, it usually starts up front that there's not enough pressure. Okay? If you're not getting pressure up front, a defensive back can only stay with one of these wide receivers so long. It's difficult. It's difficult to track these guys. Okay?
Yeah. So I'll agree with you. The numbers don't lie. And Florida State, I would say, has played decent competition. LSU, Southern Miss, and Boston College. It's not like they played three straight ranked teams.
Competition.
But you played much better competition, I would say, than Duke has.
Right.
Clemson has after the Duke game. They played Georgia Southern or Charleston Southern, something like that. And like you said, the schedule has been great for them thus far after the Duke game. But Florida State Stephen has struggled with BC last week. We saw it. You rank and opponent yards per play, you rank 84th. You're almost getting up 6 yards per play. Points, opponent yards per game. You're giving up almost 400 yards a game, which is 81th in the country. Opponent rushing yards per play is almost 4 yards per carry, which is 62. So, like you said, the numbers, 3 games doesn't make a trend, but I think 4 games does. So I think this is a big week, not just for the program, not just for Mike Norvell, but for the defense. Because I think the offense, once again, we can hark on the offense for not clicking last week, but they still put up 31 points. It wasn't always pretty. It didn't look great, but they still did their job for the most part. They still put up 31 points.
Right.
If you put up 31 points against BC, you should win that game. And they did. But the defense, they have to step up. They have to show because I forgot who said it, but I don't know if Jared or someone on the team said, we feel like we're the best defense in the country. These numbers don't show that. These numbers, I don't care who you've played for the first 3 weeks, but these numbers do not show you are even the top 10 defense in the country.
Right.
So, and like I said, 3 is a small sample size, but 4 is a quarter of your season. So if they don't go into Clemson and put up and contain that offense with a young quarterback and some younger receivers, and the offense that's still trying to find its footing, then I'm concerned that this is who they are as a defense. This will become a trend. Because right now, it's a trait of this defense, but it's not the trend. But if they go out to Clemson, they do not contain Cade and Will and these receivers, then I'm afraid that this will become the identity of this defense. And once again, it's not like this defense is missing a ton of players. You were only out Akeem Dent on the back end, right? It's not like, and I don't know, they're saying Fabian Lovett was coming back. He didn't work out, in the fall because he was injured and still coming back.
That's what I had heard.
But,
I don't know.
And there was the flu last week going around. Okay, I got it. There's always going to be these things you hear, regardless. That's why come out and show us why you believe you are a top 10 defense, or like their words, the top defense in the country. Because right now, the numbers don't support that claim, and I want to believe it. I want to believe that Fabian Lovett, that Brandon Fisk, that Jared Verts, that line can dominate whoever's on the other side of them. I want to believe that what I see from Tatum Bethune, what I see from DJ Lundy at times is what they can be consistently. The things why we brought in, Cypress. Cypress sometimes gets, but I want to believe that back end, those guys on the back end can do their jobs as well, just like they did against LSU and shutting down their receivers for much of that game. I want to see it all come together, but this is their weekend to prove that against a team that you have not beat in almost 10 years. This is the weekend to prove it to the country as well as to yourselves that this is who we're going to be for the rest of the season. That's all.
I think, this is, like I say, football is kind of a basic game. It doesn't change really from Little League all the way through the pros. And you hear it all the time. There's a lot of cliches. Some of them are very true, and that is control the line of scrimmage. Okay? We have not been controlling. Would you agree or disagree? We have not really effectively and consistently controlled the line of scrimmage in any game so far.
It's hard to say. It's not like I'm rewatching the game 3 times and can say that. So I would say we're giving up. We haven't contained run games from teams.
We're not a dominant line on either side of the ball, is my opinion. Okay.
As of yet, it's not been proven.
And no one has proven to me that we are. This will be this. What did Adagby say there? She said Clemson is deflated and all this other stuff. I don't think that. Talented, yes, but deflated, unspirited, and lacking experience. They are lacking experience in certain areas, but they have experience in others. Okay, they're not going to be down for this game. That place is going to be rocking at noon. It's a hottest ticket. It's going to be a big nationalized, televised game. So this place is going to be rocking. There's going to be no lack of emotion or spirit on either side of the ball. The question is, who are the players that are going to show up for the big moment? And my concern is, I'm hoping if our defense is inconsistent, as they have been at times, that our offense is clicking. We have to control the ball more. We can't get the ball one time in the first quarter like we did against BC. I think Clemson is going to try keep the ball away from us, because I think they believe they can move the ball on our defense. They can handle our line up front. If Clemson has any experience, they have it on the offensive line, okay? My understanding is their offensive line is fairly intact from last year, and they're pretty good there. Now, one of the things that has been an issue that could come into this game, Clemson this week, they have had kicking game problems, especially in the field goal department, even in the extra point department. They went out, contacted a former kicker who still had eligibility, and brought him in. Okay.
I don't think they've completed a field goal this season.
No, they've missed all
They ranked 132 in the NCAA. They haven't completed a field goal.
They went out and got this guy who's at home, online courses. I assume he's enrolled in Clemson. He's officially enrolled, which he'd have to be to play. He is now working out on campus. He kicked. He's made a bunch of practice field goals. He's their kicker coming into Saturday.
Yeah.
So advantage Florida State, I think, in the kicking game if it comes down to that. But this guy's going to be a little nervous, and it's going to be interesting to see how he plays. Yeah. All right. But I'm looking at our roster now, our depth chart. All of these guys were celebrated coming into this year. This is the game they need to stand up, and show out, as they say. This is the game. And we can't be allowing the Clemson offense to run first down after first down after first down, making impossible 3rd down and 15, 3rd down and 20 plays in this game. Yeah. If we do that, we're going to have some problems.
Well, I think FJA and B. Riley bring up a good point. We did force a lot of 3rd downs last week. We just didn't get off the field with those 3rd downs.
Well, you can force a lot of 3rd downs, but if you're not getting off the field,
and that's what I'm saying. It's a scheme. It's that 3rd down scheme was not correct last week, and that's something that needs to be fixed. And you would hope with this coaching staff, Adam Fuller and Norvell will get together and they'll figure that out with Randy Shannon and crew. And they'll figure out what is the right packages for getting the team off the damn field when you force that many third downs. Because like B. Riley says, they forced 24 third and fourth downs last week. And you a lot of those times you were like, this should be a fourth down coming up because of the yardage. It's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 20. Just couldn't get off the field for some reason. The scheme broke down. So I think that is a good call by FJA.
And a lot of those passes, if I remember correctly, a lot of them were these slants across the middle, where the middle receiver seemed wide open at times. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah, and when we talk about Clemson too, so I think too we have to look at Clemson, who they are this year as a team. Once again, they played Duke, who's a top 25 team, wasn't ranked to begin the season, but is now. But since then, who have they played? They've played Charleston Southern and FAU. Both blowouts, both games that they struggled to get going offensively in those games, but obviously those ended in blowouts. And both are played. They played. Now this will be the third straight home game. The only game on the road was at Duke opening weekend, and they lost that game. When you look at their stats, even with that softer schedule, they are not highly ranked at any any of the main categories that you look at compared to FSU. And once again, you could say that who you play does affect that, but you would think based on who they've played that they would be ranking higher in this based on that softer schedule. So you look at some of the things that stand out to me with this is their sack percentage on defense. They rank 122nd in sack percentage right now.
Wow.
When you think of Clemson, when I think of Clemson, I think of dominant defensive line, dominant defensive ends, and guys that get to the quarterback.
Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah. So far, they have not been able to get to the quarterback. Now, like I said, sacks don't always show the real number, because look at their opponent's yards per pass. That ranks at 4.8 yards per pass. That ranks number 6 in the country. So they're not giving up when guys are getting off passes, but they're throwing short. Now, that could be a factor of the competition they're playing. Guys are throwing shorter. These guys, don't have elite receivers around.
Getting rid of the pass quick.
Exactly.
Short. Yeah.
So I think that's where that number plays into the competition level. But you look at other things on the offense, and you brought up the field goal conversion side. They haven't converted a field goal this year, so that could definitely come into play here. Other things I look at here in terms of they're struggling a little bit on the rushing game. Now, the rushing defense, you think historically has always been pretty strong, but Florida State was able to get some of that going last year. So opponents' rushing yards per game, they rank 80th, giving it 4.3 yards per game. That's worse than Florida State is this year on our line. Opponent rushes per game is at 33. That's 56 in the country. And rushing yards per game altogether is at 141 yards per game. That's 70th in the country. This Clemson team is susceptible to the run, or appears to be susceptible to the run based on what the numbers tell us. This is the weekend, and this is the debate. You can let us know in the comments that I keep saying that I sound like a fucking parrot when I say this, but this is the weekend that the run game has to get going. This is the weekend, and I don't care if it's Trey Benson, I don't care if it's Kazai, I don't care if it's Hill, I don't care if it's Toa Philly. The run game has to get going. One thing I observed, and once again, I'm just a chair coach. I'm sitting here with my own opinions. This isn't a criticism of anyone's, how they play, who they are, but I feel like Trey Benson's a little bit tippy-toey at the line. He is not hitting the hole as hard as I think I saw him last year doing it. I don't know what that might be. That could be a wrong observation, but that's what I see when I watch the game. I don't feel like he's attacking the holes when I see them open like he was last year. It seems like he's hesitating. He's looking for the perfect space, and he's not breaking it as quickly as he did last year. Let me know if you disagree with me on that, which is why when I see Hill play, I see Hill, he's quick, he's shifty, he's cutting upfield when he sees it, and he's getting more yardage that way. I still think they're rotating, trying to find who is going to be our lead back. I do also believe this is why they're missing Trayshawn Ward this year. Trayshawn was that gadget back. You can put him in first before Trey, and he would find the hole, and he would cut right through it, regardless of how big that hole was. And I do think this team does miss the Trayshawn Ward on this team. Maybe Hill could be that guy, even though he's more of a bowling ball type. He does have speed. Maybe Kazai could be that guy. But I do think that Trey misses that Trayshawn complement to his game, because he just seems a little bit hesitant finding those holes this year. But I do think Clemson is susceptible to the run, and Florida State needs to have that consistency to open up the playbook and not be so predictable in offense. That is one of my observations if they are going to win this game.
Yeah, I think they have to have, I don't know, I'm going to say 125 to 150 yards rushing the football against Clemson, to win the game. I don't care how they get those 150 yards. It can be anybody by committee, as far as I'm concerned. There has been criticism out there across the board that Trey Benson is not the Trey Benson of last year, whatever the reason may be. Okay, I don't know what the reason is. But there is criticism of Trey Benson. If you start to look at what we're hearing and everything, and I'll tell you right now, you get nothing out of the press conferences with Coach Norvell. That's not a criticism of Coach. It's just that's how most coaches are. They give you little or nothing, especially when the questions are all softballs that are coming up. They're beach ball types that are leading questions that are just easy. They're easy leading questions by media with access. And it's the same guys asking the same questions. There must be like 4 guys in there, and 3 of them are from one organization because I keep hearing the same names.
Well, at least nobody's been banned.
Weird.
What? They're afraid now. You saw the situation at USC where Riley banned a media reporter from the sideline. So
there you go. No, there you go. If a coach doesn't like you, he tells the media, don't credential the guy, and that's how it is. So what you get very little out of those. They're very boring. I watch them every day. If I was doing this and I had to go there every day, I would be like, I can't do this because you're getting nothing out of it. Now, we don't have, and then on top of that, you don't get any information about injury reports like you would in the pros that have to put that stuff out. Exactly. They have to. Well, listen to me now. Don't. This is like semi-pro football.
Okay.
People are betting on these games. We're not a betting site. We don't encourage betting. We're not financial analysts. But people, if you don't know some of this stuff, it affects these lines, which now the NCAA has no problems with betting and gambling on college football. So you get little out of that staff. So we're left with rumors and other stuff. I don't want, and I see everybody with shirts and all this, no excuses, no explanations. Okay, well then don't start spreading rumors right after the BC game that there was a flu bug going around, but
where's
no,
this
I'm
going?
just saying.
Where's this point going?
The point is, the point is this: it's time for this football team to step up and win this game by whatever points you need. You're the number 3, number 4 team in the damn country. Your numbers don't reflect it. Okay, so it's either put up or shut up and get out of the way. Yep. That's what it is.
Yep.
Okay. That's not hugs and kisses, and some people may not like that, but that's what this is about. Because if they go in there and stink up this game and lose this game, I don't care if they lose by a point, then the fan base is going to start calling names. Okay. And then all of a sudden, the huggers and the kissers are going to start coming out too.
I agree with you because based on the numbers we see, based on the numbers we see from the Clemson offense and defense, this is not a dominant team. Based on what we've seen, observed them playing as, this is not a dominant team. This is a game Florida State has to win. Regardless of the year, haven't beat them in almost 10 years. This is a game prime to beat if you are what you say you are, a truly great team, a top 5 team. To your point, if they do not come out and win this, I don't care if they win by a point or 100 points. We are going to have to sit down and have a come to Jesus moment and say, we are not who we say we are, right? And just decide what has gone wrong. But I'm not going to put that in my back of my mind because I do believe that we have the talent, we have the players to win this game, and I do believe that the coaches have to put them in the right position. Like we talked about, third down schemes. We have to put the right plays in order to get the players off the field because we have the talent. Hopefully we get the 2 offensive linemen back. Hopefully we get Akeem Dent back. Hopefully we're fully healthy, flu or no flu. We're fully healthy. We're back, and we go in and we can beat this Clemson team. Because after Saturday, there is no more excuses. There is no more excuses. I hope everyone agrees with that. There shouldn't be, well, this guy got hurt. There's no more excuse after this Saturday. You go in there, you beat Clemson, and you move forward.
Yeah,
that's it.
Listen, when we look at everything that we've already looked at here, there is absolutely no reason, given the talent, okay, that we've been told over and over and over and over again, because we only go by what we're here.
And we've seen
what we see is there's no reason this Florida State team doesn't go in there, covers the spread, which is 2.5 points. Okay, they cover the spread 2.5 points and win this game and come home with a W. Absolutely no reason, no excuse, no explanation, if this didn't happen. Now, one of the things that I thought was interesting in the week's Coach Norvell press conferences is he said this. He goes, it's when they had those big busts early in the BC game, gave up big chunks on pass plays and third down plays. He said, listen, he told them, I don't remember what the question was, but we have gone, it's not like we haven't seen this, what they were doing. We went over the sequence of how to handle this. At least he put out a number, like 90 times we went over this in practices, 90 times. And he goes, we had some miscommunication, a breakdown. I'm going like, what? I mean, that whoever broke down and missed out on that, whoever that guy was, he shouldn't be out there. Yeah. The guy can't be out there. Yeah. If he can't, he's not learning and that's your fault as coaches if he's not out there. Yeah. But it was kind of a weird answer, but it was funny to hear. It's always the same words: get better. We got to clean up communication. We got to communicate better. This team has the spirit to do this, and I know they will. So this is the game. They should win this game. Go in there, take the crown off the head of the king, and move on down the road. That's how it should go.
Well, let's do it then. So what is your key to the win, or who do you predict the winner to be, and what is your key to that victory? And keep it brief.
I believe the offense will show up. The offensive line will be average plus. I think Jordan will use his feet a little bit more in strategic situations. I think Coleman and Wilson will do damage down the field. The tight ends will get in and we'll get at least 100 to 125 yards rushing. The defense will step it up in this game. I see the score being about 31 to 21. 10 point, 31 to 21.
Yeah, I do see this as
Florida State win.
If Florida State clears 35 points, I believe that they will win this game. But I do believe that they'll have to put up 31 plus points to win this game, just like at BC. I do believe the offense will come to play. What I want to see on Saturday, and what I think the key to what you kind of brought up is that I want Jordan Travis to be Jordan Travis. I don't want him. It feels like he's trying to be something else. Like he's not embracing that he is a dual threat quarterback at times, right? Like if he sees an opening or like sometimes he doesn't see portions of the field. Like I don't feel like we're fully embracing like the big play threat he has with his legs. And I don't know if he's trying so hard to be that in the pocket quarterback that, and he can't be it sometimes. I don't know, but I do believe that the offense will come live. Keon Coleman's not going to not have a 0 catch day like he did last week. If he does, we definitely lose the game. But I believe that we'll draw plays to get him the ball. I believe Johnny Wilson will have a good day. And I do believe that we will scheme our tight ends to be involved in the middle of the field. I believe we'll find all three of those facets in this offense will come alive against against this Clemson team, because I believe that they potentially have been holding a little bit back or scheming something for this Clemson team. They'll have it ready. And I believe there'll be something along the lines of 35-31. I do believe it'll be close in the fourth quarter. But to your point, I believe the offense will do enough to make up for potentially some of the issues that the defense may be working through. But I do think the offense will come to play. Jordan Travis will lead this team. And the playmakers that you've brought in, Jaheim Bell, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, will step up and do what they need to do to win this game. That is my prediction.
Yeah, the national people and, the people who do gambling for a living, they still see Florida State as a 10-1 odds to win the national championship.
And they can.
So they still believe in this team. And I still believe in the team.
And
you believe in this team. We're just calling them out. That's how we coach. That's who we are. If we were in that locker room, if it was my team, I would be talking using the same tones, the same language, with of course all the positives as needed. But this is who I am. I'm not going to change who I am on this program. I'm not going to change who I am if I were coaching kids. That's who I am. That's what it's about for me. And I get it's a different style and everything. And I want to say this, which I found this as a sideline. So we both have Florida State winning this game. They must win this game. This is an absolute must-win game for so many reasons we've already mentioned. But in terms of how NIL has changed this college football game, I don't know if you saw it. I was watching the 60 Minutes interview with Coach Prime. And I just want to mention one thing. NIL, his son, Shadu Sanders, the quarterback, is driving as part of his NIL deal. He's driving, I've never heard of it before, a Mercedes Maybach. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, a Maybach. Yes.
Maybach.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that model. It's like $190,000. Now, that's where the college football game is. Okay, so you know what? Just say, well, people shouldn't criticize student athletes. Really? Okay, but that's incredible. Okay, but Florida State wins this game. We come home 4-0, and we get guys who are supposed to step up who do step up.
Yeah. Well, and B. Riley, to that point, like I said, I don't think the coaching staff try to change Travis. I think we've seen what Travis is. He is a good to good plus passer, but he is not a elite passer, and I don't think he will be. And I think they need to, the way he can, if he wants to be an NFL player, is by using both those parts of his game. He is not going to beat you in the pocket at the NFL level.
No.
He's not going to beat you passing 40 times from the pocket. I think that's fair to say. That's not who he is.
Watch why Lamar Jackson is getting all the big money because he uses his feet.
He's not Caleb Williams. And, Jordan Travis is a guy with a good arm who can also beat you with his legs. And that's what this coaching staff, I think, needs to continue to embrace from him.
If you see it, that's the threat that opens up the opposing defense is the threat that he could run and they have to put a spy on him or do something else. Because if he sees an open avenue, he should just dart through it. And then if he thinks he's going to get hit, just slide. Just go down. You don't have to take massive hits.
But we'll see. We'll see. I think, like we said, we both predict Florida State coming out with the win. We think the offense will show up, will click, use these playmakers they have, and I think the defense will do enough to contain. Like, you shut down Shipley, I think you easily win the game. If he runs wild, then it's going to be a shootout. Absolutely. It'll be a shootout. But I do think that Florida State has the talent, coaching staff to win this game like they should. They should go in there expecting to win this game and put on the show if they, as they can. So, let us know, though, what your predictions are, what your, comment below. If you're watching this post live, if you're watching live, let us know in the comments what your score predictions are, because I'm interested. And obviously, we'll be doing a post-game reaction either right after the game or on Sunday, just to recap our thoughts and feelings. And you guys can join that and give us your thoughts. But hopefully, we're celebrating a win.
Right after the game.
Hopefully, we're 4-0. And we come out of that. That strong. So but let us know your score prediction, your keys to the game in the comments, because I'm interested in that. We'll comment you back and give our thoughts to those, and then we'll bring those up. And we'll talk about those after the game based on the result and see what came true and what didn't come true. But yeah, anything else you want?
The King's going down, bro. The King is going down. Take the crown off and leave town. Okay. And let Dabo explain it, okay? Because the worst thing you want to see is a Dabo win. That guy, he's in my category. He is, the greatest game ever. Our team, I'm so proud. I will turn it off. I won't be able to watch it. I won't be able to watch it. I won't be able to watch it.
I can't stand them.
And that's not going to happen. So that's not going to happen.
Well, thanks y'all for joining us again. We will see you on Saturday after the game. Hopefully it will be with a W. I'm going to positive mindset. So y'all enjoy your Thursday, enjoy your Friday. We'll see you Saturday. Enjoy some good food with your game. If you're there, good luck. Hopefully you're not in Death Valley because I wouldn't want to be there, but enjoy the game. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will speak with you soon.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
And we appreciate you in your comments. Take care, y'all. Go Noles, and we'll see you on Saturday.
All right, good job, man.
I don't know.